Hello and welcome back everybody to episode 9 in this FS Academy Navigator series. Today's lesson, Mountaineer. We're going to be flying through mountains and valleys today. I just have a feeling with the downdrafts and the updrafts, it's going to be a very bumpy ride. So before we jump in, just if you like content like this, please just give this a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So, all right, that's enough. Let's jump in.
We're flying above the French Alps. We had planned our flight to Chambéry at a higher altitude, allowing us to use the more direct route. But today's low cloud has ruined our plans and forced us lower into the valleys. Conditions are just about good enough to continue, but if things get worse, it should always be possible to turn back to safety if needed. We're going to start by heading to Annecy, the town up ahead beside the lake. Then it's all valleys until Chambéry. We have taken extra fuel as we knew that a deterioration in the weather was possible, causing us to take a much longer and complex route. We can use the stepping stones method to find our way, as the legs are so short, allowing us to turn directly towards our next waypoint. Take us to the north shore of Lake Annecy, maintaining 4,000 feet.
Alright, and just like I thought, it's already bumpy. Probably going to get worse when we turn towards the valleys. Let's jump out and see what it looks like out here. Very nice scenery. I don't think I've been here before. That's nice.
Now please make a left turn to follow the lake to its southern tip.
Turning, there we go.
Head towards the far end of the lake, keeping an eye out for potential landing sites either side of the water in case we need to perform a forced landing. There was a more direct route to Chambéry, but the low cloud has prevented us from going that way. Luckily, the wind is only 270 at 5, so whilst we may get an occasional patch of rough air, it won't be too bad. Published routes are common in a lot of mountainous areas with heavy traffic, such as the Alps and the USA. Carry on ahead a little further to Faverges, where we'll be met with a fork in the valley. We'll take the left fork when we get there.
Alright, will do. I believe there's their fork right there, left and right.
Follow the valley around to the left to take us overhead Val d'Aches.
Alright, making our left turn. Heading for Val d'Aches. And what's the altitude? There we go. Keep turning until it registers. There we go.
Be aware that in tight valleys, even on a clear day, the valley walls and rock formations cast shadows which may conceal hazards. These hazards might be hang gliders, cables, birds, or any number of other risk factors associated with valley flying. Conversely, strong sunlight can heat up dark rock, causing the air to be heated and rise, known as thermals, which can cause turbulence.
Yes, because it's a little bumpy right now.
Now track the valley to the right, which will bring us to Ujin. As the valley narrows, we can find that a Venturi effect causes the wind speed to increase, so be wary of the potential for our currently minor tailwind to become stronger momentarily, seen as a drop in our indicated airspeed and loss of lift. Also, you can find wires across some valleys used for communications or zip lines, so be aware of these as you near narrow points.
Yeah, that wouldn't go too good if we ran into some of these zip line for anybody.
Albeville is our next waypoint, so make a sharp right here. Although the overall forecast wind was 270 at 5, as it pushes through narrow valleys and over ridge lines, its speed and direction can vary tremendously.
Wow.
Be especially wary of getting too close to the valley wall that is on the leeward or downwind side, as the air will be spilling over and flowing down the valley wall, which is called a downdraft. Getting caught in a strong downdraft can be incredibly dangerous, and this reason alone would be enough to put a stop to a valley route on a windy day.
I think I would have liked to have flown this at like 3,000 feet. Probably more dangerous, but still, would have been neat.
Now we're at the outskirts of Albertville, we can follow the Isère River, which snakes its way past the town and along the valley floor. This is a longer stretch of valley, with the river being a convenient line feature to follow.
There's the river. See it up here too, so watch the altitude. It's kind of bumpy, getting pushed around a little bit.
We typically follow a line feature by keeping it to our left, but we don't have as much room to allow this, plus the hazards of downdrafts from the right side of this valley. Therefore, we can keep over to the right of the river, but don't get too close to the valley wall. In calm conditions, it is customary to keep to the right side of a valley, but when the wind blows, you need to avoid downdrafts as the priority. As you can probably already guess, valley flying is pretty much for daylight hours only. A multitude of hazards are present, which may not be visible at night, plus the correct identifying of valley openings, rivers, lakes, and so on, are all the types of features that become almost invisible after dark. Therefore, if your departure becomes delayed, perhaps due to waiting for a weather improvement, be aware of fading daylight and ensure that you can complete your trip within daylight hours, particularly if you have to take a longer valley route, delaying you further.
Yeah, I can see night flying being a hazard.
Take a sharp right here and you'll get your first sight of Chambéry, our final waypoint.
Okay, sharp right. So we'll do a 30-degree turn. Close to it. Pulling out, there we go. All right.
The valley has opened up to a wider space now, giving us more room to breathe with regards to tricky valley winds. However, we must remain particularly mindful of other air traffic, as valleys naturally focus the flow of flights down narrow routes, especially when low cloud pins us down to lower altitudes. Also, when the weather becomes marginal, you may be taken by surprise as you turn into your next valley, perhaps finding a rain shower or even lower cloud up ahead. So try to keep one eye on an escape plan to allow you to turn around and head back the way you came in case you need to. Radio coverage can be very patchy, as the typical VHF radio used for aircraft communications operates on line of sight, meaning terrain can block or severely attenuate the signal. Even after being pushed to lower altitudes due to cloud, we made it through the valleys to our destination of Chambéry. Next we'll take to the New York skyline to see how we can navigate through an intense traffic area safely, taking advantage of a Class B exclusion zone.
All right, folks, that does it for another one. Thank you so much for following along. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. And until next time, see ya.